Hi everybody, I'm Christa Jacobson, headmistress of the Budo, where we teach authentic Ninjutsu and classical samurai Bujutsu. And for those of you who don't know what that is, those are the ancient martial arts of the ninja and samurai. Dojo's closed, it's late, I'm going out for my night walk, and thought I would share some thoughts with all of you about the importance of studying traditional martial arts. It is something that we talked about in the dojo tonight, and I feel it's something that's very important. And for those of you guys who follow my YouTube channel, obviously you're into traditional Japanese martial arts, because that's what my channel is based on. So I want to start out by saying that this is not a video that is against MMA or against sports martial arts, but I will be making reference towards that because this video is very pro traditional martial arts, right? So this isn't an MMA versus traditional martial arts type of video, but there's definitely benefits to the traditional martial arts that you just don't get in sport martial arts, and that's something that a lot of people don't really talk about, and I think it's very important. Before we begin, I want to talk about in Japan you hear what's called Koryu Bujutsu and Gendai Budo. Koryu Bujutsu are the martial arts that were developed before 1868. So they were the martial arts in the age of the ninja and samurai, okay? And that's what I teach at the Budo is Koryu Bujutsu. Those are the traditions that we have. Gendai Budo is the modern, it's called modern martial arts, but some of them are still very old by any standard. But it's martial arts that were created after 1868, like Aikido or Karate Do. Those are considered Gendai Budo, or modern martial arts. And although very old and has a lot of tradition and traditional aspects and traditional Japanese culture to it, by Japanese standard they call that Gendai Budo. But in this video I'm going to talk about traditional martial arts, not by the timeline of Japanese history where we have Koryu Bujutsu or Gendai Budo. I'm talking about martial arts that are specific. You have traditional martial arts that focus on traditional culture, or you have sport martial arts, okay? So I'm going to make reference to modern martial arts, but I'm not talking about Gendai Budo. So we can actually take martial arts such as Karate Do or Aikido and kind of throw that into the traditional side. And I want to say that before we get going, because a lot of people who follow my channel is based on the ancient martial arts of the ninja and samurai, Koryu Bujutsu, and which predates that of the Karate Do, Aikido, Kendo, Iaido, and for my viewers, my followers, I just wanted to make sure that you guys all know where I'm coming from when I talk about my thoughts tonight. So I'm talking about traditional martial arts that is steeped in culture and tradition and have history, and they teach that history and tradition and culture within their curriculum. And then you have sport martial arts like MMA, kickboxing, boxing, that type of thing. And this video I want to talk about the benefits of traditional martial arts. So before I get going, I wanted to make sure that you guys all know where I'm coming from, because I don't want to confuse the viewer here. Right, so when we talk about traditional martial arts, and like I just got done saying, I teach Koryu Bujutsu, so I am coming from that perspective, the ancient martial arts of the ninja and samurai. When you study a martial art that has steeped in tradition, and they have some sort of a lineage and all these different kuden and folk tales and all that kind of stuff, one thing that gives the student that I feel is a huge benefit is a sense of worth. A sense of belonging in something than more than just self, right? When you do modern, and I say modern sport martial arts, all martial arts have a sense of like honor, respect, integrity, or they should to a certain degree. We say that all of them do, but let's be honest, there are some people out there who are just bad teachers and there's bad schools. But all martial arts should have some level of respect. But that doesn't mean they all do. But what we can say is, the martial arts that are sport style martial arts, the sport martial arts are based in the idea that you are going to fight your opponent, there's going to be a set of rules, and you're going to become victorious, right? Where the traditional martial arts, the mentality isn't so much of that. The mentality is, okay, you have to learn how to protect yourself and protect the ones that you love, which already automatically paints a different scenario, because it could be you are with someone that you have to protect. It's not a one-on-one fight. It could be a multiple attacker situation. There could be, edged weapons, firearms, whatever. The situation now becomes more vast that you're training for, but it also focuses on mind, body, and spirit, not just the body. And I know that, again, sport martial arts tend to want to say this mind, body, spirit, but they only focus on the body. It doesn't matter if they say mind, body, spirit. They don't focus on the mind and the spirit. They only focus on the body. They focus on the physical aspects of martial arts. To me, I feel that it's just one of the saddest things I see in the martial arts community. You've got these people who've studied, 20, 30 years. They're just this first degree master. And I'll make a video about when I say first degree master, what that means. But it's basically like the jack of all trades, master of none. And I get it. The people that say paperwork don't matter and being a master of a certain martial art don't matter. But the people that say that are the people that don't have the paperwork. The people that say that are the people that have never been graded as a master. I just want to throw that out there, because the people that have studied a specific tradition for a long time and they've dedicated decades of their life to one way and this one particular method of training and become a master, and they've got their, fourth or fifth and sixth and so forth, they've become a master. Those people understand why loyalty and that perseverance and endurance, that means something more to that individual than, say, the individual that said they have a first degree black belt in like Taekwondo, Krav Maga, Kendo, whatever. I'm just trying to come up with some modern martial arts here. First degree black belt just means Shodan. Like literally, if you're a first Dan, you're a Shodan. You're an initial level student. That just means that you've learned the basic martial arts. You've learned the basic techniques of that martial art, whatever that martial art is, and you can do them efficiently at an initial level. That's what all that is. You're not a second Dan, you're not a third, fourth, whatever. You're not a master. You are a Shodan. You are an initial level. You've learned the basics of that art, and you are efficient at the basics. That's all a Shodan is. So let's not get this idea that just because you're a black belt, you're really good. It just means you're efficient at the basics, okay? So you have these first Dan masters that have a first degree black belt in, 2 or 3 different styles, but they're a master of none. So you guys have all heard the jack of all trades, master of none. So we've got a lot of that going on in the martial arts. Unfortunately, students look at people like that, like they are something more than what they are. And I can say that everything that I teach, I have a chained master level license in the arts. I have teaching license in everything that I teach. And because I've spent this much time and because I've done what I've done, I feel that a lot of times people when they don't dedicate themselves to something and get past that initial level of, oh, look, I can do an armbar. Oh, look, I can punch and kick a certain way. I feel that when people don't do that, they're losing out on so much that the history and the tradition offers. It is sad to me, and it's just me speaking, I think it's sad when people dedicate all their lives and they're just solely focused on hurting another person. I mean, can you imagine how sad it is to be doing martial arts for 20, 30 years and you're still hell-bent on trying to learn a strike takedown to a lock, or a takedown lock to a strike, or a strike lock to a takedown, or whatever different situation that you're looking at. You've done it so long, you're still trying to figure out a new way to lock. I mean, the elbow only bends one fucking way. You're doing this for all these decades and you're still trying to figure out a cool way to lock an elbow. Like, to me, it's sad. And it's clearly that people that are that mentality, they've lost something. They've never allowed themselves to go over a certain, like they get to a certain point and then gotta stop. And it is difficult. One thing about the historical martial arts, or the traditional martial arts, one of the downsides is that it's just not popular and it's hard. No one wants to fucking do it. It's much easier to be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna do MMA 2 or 3 times a week. It's a good workout. I can learn punching and kicking techniques, and I'm good, right? Or I'll carry a gun. And but then when you study a martial art that's like historical martial art, or the traditional martial arts, what makes it difficult is not only do you got to do the push-ups, sit-ups, and squats, and you got to do your sparring, and you got to learn the kata, and then you got to learn the history and tradition and the old folk tales, and there's so much. It's so in depth, and it's so deep and philosophical. A lot of people nowadays just don't want to do it. And I think that has a lot to do with our society more so than it does the martial arts. I don't think anyone watching this video would argue that in a popularity contest, the traditional martial arts will lose every fucking time. MMA, boxing, kickboxing, you know, mixed martial arts, all that kind of stuff, those are way more popular. Or sport martial arts, like Taekwondo is a sport, Judo is a sport. You know, those sport style martial arts, they're way more popular than the traditional martial arts that focus on self-defense, self-enlightenment, self-empowerment, you know, those type of self-protection. They're just not as popular. I feel that when you study traditional martial arts, even though, like I was saying previous, I do feel like all martial arts tend to talk about honor, respect, and so on and so forth. The focus on sport martial arts are focused on yourself. It's always the word I. I want to learn how to fight. I want to learn how to kick someone's ass. I want to learn this. I don't want to teach. I can't make any money teaching traditional martial arts. I want to do mixed martial arts because I can make more money. Well, I mean, is the goal to help people, or is the goal to fatten up your pocketbook? Do you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, you know, they do that. They make that decision. That's why, and that isn't, what message wasn't to any one individual. I mean, it doesn't take rocket science to just travel. Anyone can drive through the town, and I promise you will find way more sport style martial arts and MMA and boxing and kickboxing and taekwondo schools than what you will traditional martial arts. You will see more of them. That isn't, so anyone watching this video, please don't think that that was meant for an individual. But as a traditional martial art teacher who is very dedicated to the way and tradition and teaching history and teaching tradition along with the martial arts, that I am going to defend what it is that I do, even if it is the minority. When you study sport martial arts, people tend to focus on themselves, like it's a one-on-one fight, I need to do this, I can become victorious. When you study traditional martial arts, there's this a little bit more of respect. And the more of the mentality goes to the tradition and honor to more than just yourself. You're always thinking about, I need to do this to protect myself and my family. This can better people. This can better the people around me. You know, the idea is more than just yourself. And nowadays, it's just not that popular for people to take time out of their day to think about helping other people. Like for me, I feel that everything that I do is in the minority all the way around. I feel like no one really wants to study traditional martial arts anymore. I know I don't really talk about my spirituality that much, but I practice my spirituality every single day. And, you know, and one thing I can also say is, you know, the churches are not as busy as they used to be. The temples are not as busy as they used to be. The pagan gatherings, right, out in the woods are not as busy as they used to be. You guys follow my channel, so you guys all know that I'm pagan. But spirituality and the practice of spirituality and the practice of religion is not as popular as science. More people want to bitch and have a scientific argument than they do connecting to the divine and finding themselves for spirituality. More people want to sit there and fuck someone over for a couple dollars and literally sell their fucking honor just to make money than doing something for the greater good, than doing something that will allow other people to become better people. You know? More people are more focused on, I want to kick somebody's ass, than learning true martial arts in the sense of what it was meant for. Martial arts in its sense was, I mean, don't get me wrong, the samurai were warriors. They went to the battlefield, they kill. Ninja, same thing, they were spies, I get it. But when you talk about the job of the samurai and the job of a ninja, that doesn't always equate to the exact definition of what exactly the training of Bujutsu and the training of Ninjutsu is. The training is to make sure that you can provide an opportunity to protect yourself and the ones that you love. The traditional martial artist should understand that you're training not just for the idea of a one-on-one fight. The training should incorporate you against edged weapons, you against firearms, you against multiple attackers. You are always in the disadvantageous position. In a sports style martial art, There's weight class, right? So you have, women fight women, men fight men, and there are weight classes, which equal things out to a certain degree. Where in traditional martial arts, you're training with the idea of, okay, the rabbit doesn't attack the lion, meaning the person that's going to attack your ass is going to be bigger, right? The person that attacks you is the predator. And predators don't attack other predators that could kill them. Predators attack prey that they know are weaker. So if you're being attacked, you already know up front that the person that's attacking you feels that they are bigger and stronger, or they have a tactical advantage, whether that's an edged weapon, whether it's a firearm. And if they don't have a tactical advantage, then they have an advantage in terrain. They've pinned you in a disadvantageous position, or they have the advantage by numbers. Maybe there are many of them. But the traditional martial artist has to understand how to overcome all of that, and how can they endure, persevere, and overcome. Where a modern sport-style martial art is hell-bent on one-on-one fighting. I face you, you face me, and I'm going to beat you by these specific rules. And we do live in a society where science is more popular than spirituality, right? And I find that to be sad. Not that I think science is a bad thing. I am just more on the spiritual side than I am on the science side. I think there are way more things that we cannot explain in the universe than there are that we can explain. I think that it's sad that everyone I want to make money and do mixed martial arts and MMA and kickboxing and boxing, and they teach their students, and this is a way you could self-defense. How is it possible that if you understand who is going to attack you when you walk out to the parking lot, maybe you're at Walmart, you walk out the parking lot, and then you get attacked with a knife. And the only thing you've ever done is you went to an MMA class twice a week. So if they have a knife, what are you going to do? A double leg takedown, take them down and try to do a leg lock while they're stabbing you in the fucking neck? Common sense would say, no, that's not what they're going to do. Right? Someone has a gun. What are you going to do? Grab them and go into oso to garai and do a sweep and take them into an armbar while they're putting a gun on your head? Common sense would say, no, that's not what you're going to do. But people truly believe, this is the thing, people truly believe if you do mixed martial arts, and not to even mention the size thing. Again, we talked about how predators attack prey. So the person's going to attack you is going to be way fucking bigger. They're not going to be 5 or 10 pounds bigger. They're going to be 50 fucking pounds bigger. So the people that are attacking your ass, it isn't like you're in the same fucking weight class, right? But they don't want to tell you that because it's so popular. Oh, come do mixed martial arts, and everyone, 8-year-olds get black belts and all this kind of shit. And although, look, there's a frog right there. Look at that. I think that's a sign, to be quite honest with you. And we'll talk about that later. Well, significant value in certain aspects, but there's a toad actually. But we'll it's a spiritual deal, I guess, but a little nature thing. Anyway, let's get back on track. So I feel that these people they're preaching the crap, they're doing it for the money. They don't give a shit about their students, because if they gave a shit about a student, they wouldn't sit there and say, yeah, that was someone, mixed martial arts is going to save you against firearms or against knives, right? Edged weapons. And I mean mixed martial arts in the sports sense. Again, guys, this is I'm not anti anything here. Don't get on my comments and post stupid shit, okay? I enjoy mixed martial arts like anybody else. I watch boxing on TV. I think it's good entertainment. I think it's great. And I think the boxers and the kickboxers and the MMA fighters like, Conor McGregor and all those, that kind of thing, I think they're wonderful athletes, and they're very skilled and they're very good at what they do. And by no means am I trying to knock what they do. But on the other side, I am going to promote what it is that I do. And I feel that so many people, they don't want to see the beauty into dedicating themselves to something greater than themselves. When you study the history and tradition of something, to me, it's just like, would you rather learn a technique that says, I'm going to show you the techniques of what so-and-so did when they got the belt, the championship belt? Or is it more cool to sit there and say, I'm going to show you the techniques of what this particular samurai tradition did when they fought for freedom, when they fought for the right to live, To me, that's just so much more powerful. And you're becoming part of something that you don't get in any other realm. When you do the sports stuff, it's always one-on-one. It's always about self. I want this. I want that. I want money. I want this. I can prove this. I want this. I. But when you study tradition, you should understand that you're becoming part of something that's more than you. You are going to be part of a tradition, this historical, I'm going to use the word lineage, and I think lineage is the least important aspect of a traditional martial art. And I'll make a video about the importance of lineage another time, because I think when you study history and tradition of a martial art, the dead last thing on that list is lineage. And there's a reason why I think that. But the tradition, what's passed down through the generations, the lessons of the masters, what we study, why we study, I think that holds so much value towards being a good person and having honor and respect and integrity and discipline and dedicating yourself more than just the fighting technique, but the mind. Your mind is just like any other muscle in your body. You have to push it to an extreme so it gets stronger. And when you start studying, you do the physical technique, that's fine, punching, kick the bags. I'm a big advocate for sparring, by the way, and I think sparring is a great way to test your skills, and I'm all for sparring. So if you guys are going to get on there and say MMA is better because I spar, my school spars. Watch my videos. We spar. We do full contact sparring. I think sparring is great, but to learn the kata, to learn the history, to learn the kuden, to train your mind to think more than what it is in the now, to expand that, it helps strengthen your mind, and you'll learn that you don't always have to resort to violence. If you just go to a martial arts school and the only thing they teach you is punching and kicking, inevitably, when you face a problem, you will punch and kick. If you are a carpenter and the only tool you've ever learned how to use is a hammer, well, when it's time to fix something that has a lug nut on it, you're going to grab a hammer because that's the only tool you know how to use. So if everything you learn is the result of violence, is that's your answer, that's what you're going to do. You will do what you're trained to do. Where in traditional martial arts, it teaches you to think outside of that box. Sometimes fighting is not the right answer. You want to make sure that you can always figure out a way to get it. In fact, fighting is the last answer. Fighting is the last resort. You never want to get into a fight. You want to think outside of that box. Getting back to the family is just the most important thing. I've talked about this many times in different videos where it's not about winning or losing, it's about not losing. And people will say, well, if you didn't lose, that means you win. But that's not true. See, they're thinking like a sport-style martial artist. Because if someone jumps me, and let's say that I do something where I knock the weapon out of their hands, or I jump in the car real quick and lock the door, and they have an edged weapon, right? So real quick, they pull their knife, and total bullshit scenario here. I strike, I jump in the car, lock the door. I mean, did I beat them up? No. Did I defeat them physically? No. But did I lose? No. I got in the car, I locked the door, and although that opponent may be bigger and stronger, and they have a tactical advantage with an edged weapon, I get to go see my family one more day, and that's what's more important. And that aspect of traditional training of the mind is something that I feel is very important, and it's being lost in the modern day. The same thing in the regards to the spirituality. I think people don't connect themselves to nature anymore, and that's the beauty of Ninpo. You connect yourself to that we call it Tenchi Jin, right? And the connection to the universe and the energy that surrounds us. Even though I'm right here in a city, I'm walking around Kansas City, you know, the connection to the universe and understanding how that works and your place and the spirituality and your connection to the divine is, to me, a very, very important and integral part towards traditional martial arts. And that's, again, something that I think is just lost in the modern day. And like I said, I just think it would be, the martial arts is flooded with sport over tradition. The martial arts is very flooded with, science over spirituality. The martial arts is flooded with people who are first-degree masters who have never been masters. It's flooded with a bunch of people who are the jack of all trades, master of nothing. And it's sad. And then you have people like myself. And there are many people like myself who have studied martial arts, who have master level license, and they teach traditional Budo. This isn't an advertisement specifically for my school. This is more of a study history and tradition. There are many different organizations that teach historical and traditional martial arts. And I'm an advocate for anyone that's going to be doing that, because I think there's so many benefits that one gets from medicinal, how to do healing, and spiritual work and meditation work, and not just the physical realm. All martial arts at some level are going to teach you how to punch, kick, block, and move. All martial arts at some level are going to train your body to be physically stronger. So to say that, well, this martial art's going to make me stronger, well, they're all going to make you stronger as long as you're doing a combative martial art. There are some internal martial arts, but if you're doing combat martial arts, you're going to punch, kick, block, move, and do some sort of resistance training, even if it's just body weight exercises to strengthen your body up. But at what level do you want to just do the body? Because there's more to, when we talk about self-defense is not just about the body. More people have to defend themselves against mental attacks every single day than the physical attacks that they receive. But you're never going to get that training of the mind if you're only going in to learn how to do a fucking armbar. More people have to defend themselves against emotional attacks from other people. But you can't learn how to control your emotions and the meditation and the mental aspects and the emotional aspects of the martial arts if you're solely focused on kickboxing and boxing and MMA. Because those aren't aspects of those particular sports. But if you want to learn self-defense of the mind, self-defense of the emotion, not just the physical realm, but the mind and the spirit and the emotional aspect, then you have to learn traditional martial arts. That is a benefit of the traditional martial arts. That sense of an empowerment, self-empowerment. That is something that the traditional martial arts can provide that the sport martial arts don't necessarily provide. Another thing, when learning the idea of self-empowerment, self-discipline, self-enlightenment with the traditional martial arts, that also gives you a sense of self-betterment. And the reason that's important, because a lot of times the majority of the shit that we have to deal with every day isn't the negativity of, we have a cyberbullying and people being mean and nasty and cruel, or you got other people saying really negative and hurtful things. And all those things are aspects of self-defense. You got to learn how to defend yourself against those things. But you also have to learn how to defend yourself against yourself. A lot of people, they don't even understand that the majority of the shit that they have to deal with is the shit that they put in their own head. And if you don't have someone that can help you deal with those problems, then you'll never deal with those problems. And that is something that traditional martial arts can help you with. Where if you only do sport style martial arts, like I said, if you only learn how to swing a hammer, then that is how you deal with all problems. So if someone attacks you physically, well, then you swing a hammer. If someone attacks you mentally, you swing the hammer. If someone attacks you emotionally, you swing a hammer. If someone attacks you spiritually, you swing a hammer. But if that is your only tool you have, those are the wrong actions to that attack. I've had lots of students that come in and go, and all they do is the physical side of the martial arts. Hell, I've even had black belts that come in and they refuse to let me help them mentally. It's like they get to black belt and then it's like, oh shit, now she wants to start working with the mind. I gotta go. And then I look at them and they're all hell-bent about boxing and kickboxing and MMA, and it's like, it is what it is, All I can say is good luck on your journey. But if you guys are watching this video and you want to do something, you want to be part of something that's more than you. You want to learn how to control yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And you want to be able to protect not just yourself, but the ones you love in all realms. Hand-to-hand combat, edged weapons, firearms, etc. Check out my website at www.budodninjutsu.com. If you're in the area, call us for a free class. I'll be more than happy to help you. This video has been almost 30 minutes long. I got to wrap it up. But this isn't just about me. I feel that study a martial art that gives you more than just fighting. We live in a world where everyone just wants to beat people up and talk a bunch of shit. If you have an opportunity to study with someone that gives you an opportunity to be great, then do that. If there is nothing in your area, we do offer an online training course. We offer online training. You'll be working with me, training with someone who is willing to help you better, even if it's online, right? Training with someone who is willing to help you be better is better than training with someone at a physical dojo who doesn't give a shit about you or gives a shit about how good you're going to be. And that is the absolute truth. So I'm going to let you guys go. It's been 30 minutes. So thank you guys very much for your love and support. I do appreciate it. Real quick, if you guys are into traditional Japanese martial arts and you want to study the ancient Koryu Bujutsu, the Koryu martial arts of the ninja and samurai, check out my website at www.budo-ninjutsu.com. There you can see what it is that I teach. There's a list of our schools. If you don't live next to one of our schools, you can always join the online Ninjutsu dojo and you can study with me that way. Okay, so thank you guys very much for your love and support, and I will talk to all of you guys soon.